They're afraid.
You know, democracies are not defined by our bad days. No! We're defined by how we come back from bad days.
Hey, it is me.
My choice!
The snowflakes are afraid.
You piece of living garbage-ass dumpster fire.
The good news is we're winning. You are winning. America is winning. Mr. Nate Silver just released this latest piece. It's titled Why Young Men Don't Like Democrats, and it has some very striking data. I'll front load this for you. All references are available, link in the description. Conservatives, and particularly conservative males, are far more well-adjusted mentally than their liberal counterparts. It's not really a fact that can be in dispute now. It is incontrovertible, and I think you know this because you can trust your lying eyes and lying ears over the last 8 years.
They're afraid. They're afraid.
I feel on the verge of crying when I was there, when he got elected.
I chose family. I chose women. I chose America.
They're afraid.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow, and when she gives birth, we steal her baby.
My choice!
Even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable.
Let the you terrorizing!
Cried for a second.
Afraid.
You know, democracies are not defined by our bad days. No! We're defined by how we come back from bad days.
Hey, it is ma'am.
The snowflakes are afraid.
You piece of living garbage-ass dumpster fire.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go.
Now, I'm
What
not.
does your hat say?
ICE.
What does that stand for?
Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement.
Afraid of needles.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States.
It's time for another edition, a special edition of Leftist Meltdowns.
You are voting for the devil.
And by the way, you can comment below which one historically has been your favorite as far as the Leftist Meltdowns. I know pretty much everyone's going to vote on Scream to the Sky.
No, it's the Hillary tears at the concession speech.
Oh, yeah, that one was pretty good.
It wasn't really a meltdown so much as just life.
Also,
sucking
It Is
full.
Ma'am is pretty classic.
That's pretty good too.
It Is Ma'am is good. My favorite is My Body, My Choice.
Yeah.
The big fat lady in the face.
It's just so silly. It's also tiresome. But the good news is we're winning. You are winning. America is winning. And I don't just mean politically, in your personal life, right? At the end of the day, if you can't point to results in your personal life, if your worldview, if your framework, if your ethics, if it doesn't make your life and the life of those around you any better, it is of no value. And if your worldview, if your ethics makes your life and makes the lives of those around you worse, that means it's very likely evil. Does that make sense? So this comes from Nate Silver, some new data, and it's pretty striking. We look here at mental health by affiliation. It's been categorized, okay? And I believe that some of this is looking at multiple studies and some polling data. So mental health, conservatives, 51% were listed as excellent, 39% as very good, their mental health. Poor was 19%. Now we look at identified as liberal. Excellent, 20%. Very good, 26%. Poor, 45%. So it's much less than half of liberals identify themselves as being mentally well, and it's more than double who say that their mental health is poor.
At least they know it.
At least they know it, but the solution is it's not my fault.
It's
right. The world's fault. But let me ask you this. Is every person who's answering as a conservative, are they systematic oppressors and that's why they have better mental health? Is it the world's fault, or maybe at a certain point, is it your fault? There's also another note here from Nate Silver. It says, so the young men that Democrats have trouble with aren't necessarily the ones who've been captured by the conservative manosphere or who are looking for a helping hand. Rather, it's those who report relatively high mental health and see Democrats as being too neurotic and perhaps constraining their opportunity to compete and reap the rewards of their work. In other words, the people who make up the backbone of a functioning society. Right? At the end of the day, do you think society functions when it's a bunch of pansexual, lesbian, queer women Z's with self-reported awful mental health? Or do you think it's young men who say, yeah, I feel pretty good. Yeah. And I just want to be able to enjoy the fruits of my own labor. Who builds a strong society? We come to a certain point, right? We're at an impasse. Okay. After whom do we want to model this? On whom do we want to base this going forward? And then when it comes specifically to, were you about to say something?
I was going to say, so I'm really interested in that because everybody on the left is saying, oh, it's the manosphere. This is the problem with these guys. They've been captured by this kind of far right, red pill-ish kind of crowd that is telling them these things. And really, it's one of the reasons that people were like, Joe Rogan, you shouldn't listen to those guys. You shouldn't listen to these guys. It's like, guys, you don't understand. Like, that's not what's happening right now. It's just that your message really sucks. Like, they won't do any kind of like mirror test at all and go, hey, how is this actually coming across to people? Like, what do people actually want in society? They're just going with that same line of, oh, it must be somebody else's fault that we're not getting through.
Well, it's another reason, too. You go tell them, hey, don't watch the Joe Rogan show. Don't watch Steven Crowder's show. Well, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. Well, also,
you want me to vote for you so you can tell me what to do all the time and then hate me for being a man?
This shows you that Democrats need you to be miserable and poor. In other words, if I'm a Republican strategist, if I'm advising Donald Trump or whoever the next guy is, or it's Vance, you go, okay, you need to make sure that people feel good, they feel stable, they feel hopeful, and they feel, if we're just talking about feelings, as though they can enjoy the fruits of their labor and that there's opportunity available to them. So we need to create that kind of an atmosphere. If you're advising a Democrat, you go, okay, you need to make them feel helpless. You need to make them feel dependent. You need to make them feel hopeless. Otherwise, they won't vote for you. Here's one thing Silver gets wrong, though. If I'm an advisor, that is actually that is how I advise them.
The Democrats always have to tell you there's a problem so they can give you a solution to fix it.
And it's never your fault. It's never your fault.
Right.
So we accept, meaning conservative men, accept the fault with, the consequences of our actions, as long as that also means, okay, we are free to make our own decisions and reap the rewards. We'll accept the fault if we also are given the rewards. The left will say, no, it's never our fault, but we want equity in the outcome. And one thing that Silver gets wrong here, because I just think he's too myopic, he says the people being captured by the conservative they're not being captured by the manosphere. These are not people who are looking for a helping hand. It's the people who report relatively high mental health and want to be able to reap the rewards of their work. Well, that is the manosphere. So the manosphere, here's the thing, men looking for guidance where they go, okay, things aren't working. I want to better my life. Silver is equating manosphere with incels. A lot of the manosphere out there, and I don't agree with everyone out there, but there are a lot of people in manosphere saying, look, get fit, get healthy, be attractive, and that means be happy as well, become successful in your endeavors. Don't focus on trying to chase after a woman. Don't focus on trying to chase clout. Better yourself, and you will reap the rewards. So he's actually wrong. The manosphere itself is not a place where a bunch of men are going, please help me. They're going, all right, give me some advice so I can do this on my own. And there is and Nate Silver kind of realizes this without realizing it, there is no such sphere for young women. And that is an issue. Feminism and what they now call intersectional feminism, it's not empowering. It strips young women of power. It tells you there's nothing you can do and none of it's your fault. Well, what do you think that does to your mental health? And that brings us to the sex breakdown here on the mental health. Gen Z men reported their mental health is good, 38%. Gen Z women, only 21%. And here's a very, very alarming stat. The use of SSRIs dramatically increased among Gen Z girls during COVID. So during COVID, the use of these psychotropic drugs, SSRIs, and by the way, some people use them. I'm not getting into that discussion right now. I'm just talking about the mental health outcomes. During COVID, Gen Z men, the usage stayed flat, didn't change, statistically insignificant. For girls during that period, age 12 to 17, it went up 129.6%.
Whoa.
Wow.
For the women ages 18 to 25, it still went up 56.5%. This is as close as you get to a controlled study, folks. Gen Z men were facing the same problems during COVID as Gen Z women. One group could handle it, one group could not. I'll tell you what that is. That's reality hitting people in the face and one group not being able to deal with it because feminism and the left's dogmatic agenda strips young women of their self-reliance, of their autonomy, of their confidence.
Confidence, yeah.
You tell a girl she's perfect. You tell a young girl, you're perfect. Hey, men are coming after your rights. It's their fault. Hey, you're not doing anything wrong. The world owes you a favor. And then all of a sudden COVID happens and you're no better off than the guys who are figuring a way around it. Pop a pill. You're not going to look inward. The men looked inward. Young girls popped a pill. Do we want those results? Comes down to this. Some people say, why are you being hard? Do we want those results or can we do better? Well, we did do better. This idea that women back in the day were all on Xanax and Mama's Little Helper, it's not even close to today. They use that as the lie to push the agenda of today. And now you have girls age 12 to 17. They're using the drugs at a rate, the increase 130%.
That's sad.
It is sad. These are children.
Yeah, it's terribly sad. Like you want that trend to reverse. This is about making sure that goes the opposite direction. Like it decreases by 100%, whatever it is, whatever the number is, 80%. That's what I want.
Not if you're a pharmaceutical company.
Well, exactly.
Does the brain have a prime period of years for growth and for development?
Well, your synapses are not fully, basically they haven't fully formed until about 25. And so I think cognitively we're at our best between probably the ages of 25 and probably 35.
So this is before they're even at their cognitive best that they're pushing SSRIs on these 12, 13, 14-year-old girls.
And then you look at the youth vote in 2024, Gen Z men, again, with way better mental health. SSRI use stayed flat. They voted for Trump by 14 points. On average, Gen Z women, Kamala by 17 points. Gen Z non-binary, Kamala by plus 69 points, where, by the way, we know that we have an attempted suicide rate that exists nowhere else in the history of the industrialized world, including Jews from Auschwitz and American slaves. So whatever the left is doing, it is catastrophic for young, particularly young women's mental health. You know how you see mental health improve for women? They get married, mental health outcomes become a little bit better. I know you've been told that you're going to end up trapped in an abusive relationship. They have kids, their mental health outcome becomes a little bit better. You know what else happens? They become more conservative. Plus Kamala 17, and then it gets to be a wash if you take women who have a husband and children. So as conservatism goes up, mental health issues go down. In every study that we have available, there is a correlation. At what point do you deny the causation?
You know, at one point I was pretty liberal myself.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, it is depressing.
Really? What did you do about it?
Well, I went to go see the office nurse about it. He fixed me right up.
Oh.
Let's check your hoo-ha.
Hey, Doc.
I'm busy.
I just needed something real quick. I've been feeling, I don't know, depressed lately.
Here.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. Let's check your hoo-ha.
There goes that Flintlock sponsor.
I don't know. It's the most.
Sorry, Gerald.
I'm holding out for the pepperbox revolver.
Yeah, well. Any consolation, I missed.
That's good.
'Twas only but one shot.
And we're so glad you did.
Oh,
we're so glad that you did because you're here with us.
I cut off my beer. That's what I hit.
Otherwise, what would we do without your pizza deliveries?
You would go hungry.
Uber Eats.
Whoa, dude!
I'd find a way
You're
around
going with
it.
the immigrants over me? Come on!
Here's and Shane, comment below if you were someone who was left, who has transitioned to being more conservative, and if you're mental health is doing better. And here's one thing you always see the gaslighting from people like Keith Olbermann.
Yeah.
For example, if you say, hey, I don't think that biological men should be competing in women's sports, they go, oh, are you triggered? No, I'm making fun of it and I think it's silly. It doesn't really affect me. Honestly, I don't really have a dog in the fight. I'm just pointing out the absurdity of it.
Well, that's the first thing they go to because that's how they feel.
Exactly.
That's how they feel. Living in Seattle for so long, being pretty left on a lot of things, that's how I felt all the time. I was like, oh, I better not say this. I better not say that. But now I'm like, why was I ever scared to call that guy gay?
Because you were surrounded by a mob of people who told you it was wrong.
He was being gay, still is.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes you got to call a gay. And
it's not gay. It's just being it.
But they do this and try and say, see, so you're triggered. Well, okay, but now we have the numbers. In other words, someone can go, hey, you guys live in clown world. This is insane. Oh, you have mental health issues? No, I feel pretty good. I'm just pointing out the stupidity. Whereas you, the ones perpetuating clown world, are miserable. So again, if we're going to look at the objective results, what kind of parameters do we want to set? Do we want people to be more mentally fit? Okay, let's encourage families. Let's encourage people to be more self-reliant. Let's encourage individual liberty. Let's encourage what we all know as conservatism, because those folks are less likely to kill themselves and more likely to be great neighbors. And here's the thing. We see more objective bad polling for Democrats right now, and they can't stop stepping on their own fake dicks. Now, the media will try and make it seem, this is the gaslighting, right? It's always projection. They try and make it seem like Trump in your support is cratering.
But as we approach the end of Trump's first 100 days, it seems he was pretty quick to squander whatever goodwill he came in with.
Donald Trump is unpopular.
He is immensely vulnerable. Trump is deeply corrupt.
Trump actually is the most unpopular president at this point of a presidency in American history.
Republicans seem like they don't want to defend some of the things that President Trump wants to do, or the unpopular things.
Okay, Corbin Poo.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want to defend everything that a president does.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we don't follow blindly.
Right.
That's not what this is about.
Yeah, and by the way, conservatives, Republicans can be like, I don't necessarily love him personally. They go, what do you think about the direction of the country? Oh, well, I think we're going the right direction.
Exactly.
For the first time in modern history, Americans, as a majority, believe we're going in the right direction. We're headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Well, here's some new polling data from CNN that says, I know you guys want to win your popularity contest and you want to make sure that we don't sit at the cool kids table, but maybe Democrats may want to start taking a look at themselves as to why they suck.
This is how Americans sort of see the parties. Which party is better described as the party with strong leaders? Look at this.
Wow.
16% of Americans say Democrats. 40% say that of the Republican Party. Now,
Can you believe it, Bill?
No party's doing great. Lots of Americans say neither of these qualities apply to either party. But look at how much worse off the Democrats are. A party that gets things done. Only 19% of Americans say that about the Democrats. 36% say it about the Republicans.
Survey
so
unfinished.
among Democrats and Democratic leaners, 32% say Democrats are the party with strong leaders. I mean, of their own kind, right? 82% of Republican leaders say that about the GOP. Only 41% of Democrats say they're the party that gets things done of their own kind. And I will just say, 51%, Manu, a majority of Democratic and Democratic leaners say neither party gets the party that gets things done attribute. Imagine that's the project that Democrats are working on.
Yeah.
Can you bring up that last frame for me?
Yeah.
So he's saying that this is among Democrats and people who lean left. The very bottom one is shocking. This is why
Party of the middle class.
Party of the middle class. Even amongst their own kind, they say Republicans are more the party of the middle class than they are.
This is amongst their own kind left and amongst their own kind right.
Oh,
so
okay, yeah.
67% of Democrats say that they are the party of the middle class, and 71% of Republicans say they are
the party of the middle class.
Yeah.
In other words, more Republicans view themselves as the party of the middle class than even Democrats. But the point remains. Also, by the way, same thing, the party of change. Fewer Democrats believe they are the party. It was literally the one-word campaign slogan for the last successful guy you had. And by the way, changed everything. More change came with Barack Obama than any president in modern history, as far as the weaponizing of our judicial system, as far as the spending, as far as overhauling the healthcare system with irreparable consequences. So now fewer people on the left view themselves as the party of change than people on the right. But they want you to focus on, hey, Donald Trump's not popular. We don't care. You're depressed and feckless.
You've been saying that to America since 2015.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's not popular.
Yeah.
You're depressed. I'll give you time and a rope.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sorry, I have to.
No.
You
But see,
got
here's the
that
thing.
before. You brought
Did
up
I get
the
it
full
wrong?
screen,
Research.
He can handle it because of the mental fortitude that comes with
Hey, you know
conservatism.
what?
Exactly.
And being an Aryan.
That's true as well.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the live daily show is now streaming exclusively on Rumble weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tune in there, where nothing is censored.